tell you something interesting. Something that I survived that I should not have survived at all. I remember I was in jail and I was being secluded because I was on the wrong medication and I couldn't even function. I could hardly see anything in front of me. I couldn't hear anything. I thought this was 2014 and I thought it was 1999. I literally had a mental delusion telling me that it's 1999, and I thought it was. So I get out. I get out of jail. They take me on. This is in Calgary. It's in Canada. It's in Alberta. They get out. They take me to the Peter Lougheed Hospital, and I got a big bag of stuff with pencil, crayons, and notepads and everything, and just all kinds of stuff. And I just walked out of the hospital. I just completely walked out. You know what's funny? This is the only story where I remember every single thing that happened before the major incident. And this all happened in one day, so listen to my story. I walk out of the Peter Lougheed Hospital, and I am out of my mind. You see me now, I'm out of my mind. It's like 100 times worse back then. I walk behind towards the north end of Rocky View, and some guy on the pathway passes me and says something to me. It was pretty rude. I was so out of it, I didn't even care. Like, I just walked past him. And I was frail too. Like, I was like 160 pounds with a gut. Like, I haven't eaten nothing in a long time. I wasn't eating when I was in jail. I still don't know how I didn't die of starvation or whatever, but probably, I don't know, I didn't really eat that much. So I walk up to 32nd Avenue. I'm outside the Smash Bros or Smash Burgers. It's like a burger joint in Canada, and I'm sitting there at the bus stop, and there's a half-eaten apple pie there, just sitting there, and something told me don't eat it, so I didn't. I get on the bus, go down 32nd Avenue. I get off at Edmonton Trail and 32nd Avenue. And I'm walking through the park. There's a park right near there. And these guys who were playing golf were yelling and screaming at me and like God knows what else. And after that, what happened after that? I walked up. I'm trying to remember the name of that street. I walked up a street. I went past the golf course. And then I went back down. I took the number 2 bus and went up to Huntington, went to my grandma's house, my grandma's old house. She hadn't lived there since 1999, and I thought she was there. So obviously she wasn't there. So I got back on the number 2 and went to the bus loop in Huntington Hills. I get to the bus loop and I walk up to Bennington. I went to the Max store. It's called Circle K now. And when I was at the Max, the clerk there asked me, "You want a Slurpee?" And I said, "Sure." Then they called the police on me, and they thought I was on coke or something. So I thought I was getting arrested and going back to jail. But what happens was they ended up taking me to a homeless shelter. And I walked away from there. I walked on the C train, which was close by. And I walked off the C train, and then all kinds of stuff happened that day. People were following me. So, it's been about like 3 hours, because I remember when it happened, it was at 4 o'clock, and I got out of jail at 7 o'clock in the morning. So the whole day, I pretty much remember everything. But there's a few pieces I kind of left out. Like, I went to a veterinarian clinic and asked for a job. I thought that I was supposed to work as a veterinarian, and I have no expertise in that. So anyways, I get out. I walk out of the homeless shelter, and I walk towards the river, towards the Elbow River. And there's a bus stop there. I was literally seconds away, and the water was so high, and it was right next to the bus stop, like literally like 20 feet away from the bus stop was the river. And like, I was gonna jump in the river and drown myself. It's a good thing I didn't. I got on the 10 bus. I took the bus, and like, I'm like 155 pounds. I'm 6 feet tall. I had big muscles when I came into jail, and right now I'm at 321 workout, so, plus I'm a little overweight, but anyways. I take the number 10 bus. I get off at Chinook. There's people videotaping me. I walk to a bridge, a pedestrian bridge. And I was gonna jump off that one, but I thought there were too many people following me. So I went to, I walked around the corner, really close to where I live right now, like literally like right across the street. And there was this really high overpass. And like, I have not had a proper meal in 5 days. Might have had like bits and pieces here and there, and I was on my meds. And even the meds that I was on in jail, they weren't working. So I get to the overpass. I think about it for a second, then I just jumped. I pushed myself off the edge, and that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember was the paramedic picking me up off the side of the road. He said everything's gonna be alright. When I was in that ambulance, I had no blood pressure. No blood pressure. Almost died. I would have died if it wasn't for it was blood transfusion or something. And when I got to the hospital, I didn't eat because my arms were just, I couldn't feel them. The nurses wouldn't feed me. So I had to use an IV. But man, I was in the hospital for 3 months. Made a full recovery. Got whatever sanity I have now back. And now I'm living for God. And back then I wasn't living for God. I was a hateful, evil, sinful, wretched man. And if God can save me from my past sins, if God can save me from my suicide attempt, if God can save me numerous times in the future and in the past of that suicide attempt I just told you about, He can save you too. God loves you so much, and He is the greatest gift that anybody could ever have. God bless you. I hope this message helped. You have hope. It doesn't matter how low you are. There is hope for you. God bless you.